Hi everyone. This video is going to give you a little bit more background information about the course, um, some of the key themes and ideas that we'll be exploring. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the textbooks that are needed and the types of writing assignments that we will be doing since this is in fact a WID class. So I assume many of you saw the course description that circulated about the class. So you might already have an idea of the kinds of things we'll be focusing on in the course. But if you haven't, I'll let you know that the course description begins with the discussion of this group called the Guerrilla Girls, which is a group that consists of anonymous women artists who in the mid-'80s and still continuing into today, work on exposing some of the inequalities that exist in the art world in terms of representation in galleries and museums. They were responsible for putting up all this informational propaganda that would indicate to viewers on the street that some of these inequities existed in this space. They have a video about their group, which we will be watching and discussing a little bit more in week 2. They have their own art history book, The Guerrilla Girls Guide to the History of Western Art, which is a kind of comical way of showing the inequities in the art museum, in the art world, and also highlighting some of the most famous women artists that have often been overlooked in history. So I begin the description with a discussion of the Guerrilla Girls because they represent the kind of work that we'll be doing in our class this semester. So we're going to read, research, and write about the work of women artists. And we're going to look at women artists who are either from the DC area or whose work is housed in one of the DC area museums. As we all know, DC has wonderful museums, and I thought it would be exciting to take advantage of some of those resources. Unfortunately, when we made the switch to online learning, those field trips and visits that I had been planning on doing in the class no longer existed. So what we are going to do instead this semester is have people from a variety of museums in the area, museum professionals, some DC artists, come into our course and talk with us about women in art. And hopefully that will give a kind of a more dynamic presence to our online course. We're going to be working with the following museums: the National Museum of Women in the Arts, the Krieger Museum, which is a small little museum that you can walk to from the Mount Vernon campus. We're going to look at the National Gallery of Art, the National Portrait Gallery, and we'll also look at the Hirshhorn, which is a contemporary art space downtown on the mall. And so each week we'll focus on a museum, and we'll also focus on a particular group of artists. So we get a lot of exposure to the women in arts in DC. Got a little distracted because you may have heard the puppy in the background barking. Sorry about that. So as far as course specifics go, most of our readings are going to be posted to Blackboard. They'll either be in PDF form that you can click on and download, or there might be links. I've done my best to kind of keep the reading list a little bit more dynamic too. A mix of academic resources, web sources, some videos, there's one, maybe 2 interviews that you can listen to. So those will all be linked to on Blackboard. I'm going to be assigning some readings from a short guide to writing about art, which I find is a really useful resource for classes that have, for art classes or art-related classes that have a pretty substantive, that's the word, substantive writing requirement, right? So this short guide to writing about art comes out in new editions every once in a while, right? The edition that is out now is the 11th edition. And you can get that hard copy through the bookstore. You can also get the 11th edition online if you like. Not necessary. I think you can probably make do with a short guide to writing about art that is housed and available electronically through Gelman. And so I'll put the link in the notes that go with this video so that you can access that online resource if you like. The other thing we'll be doing is, since we're writing about arts and visual arts and art history, we're going to be using MLA citation format in any type of bibliography or works cited page that we put together. So I have a link to the Purdue OWL website, which not only contains information about MLA, but also other citation styles like APA or Chicago. So if you ever find yourself in a course that's requiring you to do a different kind of citation format, Purdue OWL is a great place to go to figure out exactly how those citations should look. So that's a little bit about some of the texts for the class. As far as writing assignments are concerned, we have 3 major writing assignments. The first is going to be an exhibition label. So in this writing assignment, you will pick a piece of art by a woman artist. Get ready, the dogs are going to go crazy. There are 2 other dogs walking in front of the house right now. The exhibition label, you're going to pick a piece of art done by a woman artist, and then you are going to write the text that would accompany that piece were it to be displayed in a museum. And we'll talk about the kinds of information that go on these exhibit labels, and we'll draft and revise an exhibition label. You'll also do an artist statement. So very often, professional artists are asked to construct an artist statement in which they tell viewers about themselves, about their work, about their influences. So you will be picking, again, a woman artist of your choice, and you will be writing an artist statement from their perspective. And then the biggest assignment of the semester, the one that draws on all the work that we do in those first 2 writing assignments, is the construction of a thematic exhibition. So in other words, you will come up with some sort of theme that you are interested in, and you will select between 6 to 10 works of art to include in that exhibition. And we'll do some front matter to kind of explain the exhibit and the thoughts that go behind it. We'll do exhibition labels for each of those pieces of art. And then we will also present that work at the end of the semester so that you can see one another's projects. So that's a little bit about what the course entails, generally speaking, a little bit about the text, a little bit about the writing assignments. Again, you could read more about this on Blackboard, so anytime I post a video, I will include some sort of text that matches up with the video, okay? So I think your next step would be to look more specifically at some course policies and procedures. You could also click on the video that talks about how our class will be structured from week to week. So that'll give you a sense of the pacing of the course and the kinds of things that you can expect each week. Okay, thank you.